Hello, my name is Zachariah Van Sliders with Old Man Gaming, and this is another horrible game review. Disclaimers to start. Number one, I don't get paid for this. I am a house dad who does this part-time in my spare time because I just love video games, so I'm not going to go back and edit things. More so today than any other day. You might hear my kids' movies in the background, or I might cough into the mic. Just going to have to deal with it. Disclaimer number two, I do not give scored reviews to video games. I believe video games are one of the most subjective forms of art, and because of that, I don't think a scored review is the right way to go. Instead, you will hear an overview of the game, or thing that I'm reviewing, the pros, the cons, and then whether or not I'm going to stick with it, and everything is my opinion. I want you to keep that in mind when you're listening to this. And number three, I don't get a ton of time with these games that like a professional would. So this is a very everyman's surface look at the game, kind of a flash view of what it is. If you want an in-depth view, if you want to see the stats and everything that could possibly be looked at, you might want to look at some other vendors for that. All right, with the disclaimers conveniently shoved to the side, let's get into the actual review itself. Today, we are reviewing not just a game, we are reviewing specifically the Battle Royale part of Forza Horizon 4. And you heard me right, Forza Horizon 4, a kind of open world arcade racing game, has added a Battle Royale. That PUBG, Fortnite type Battle Royale. How does that work? How do you play that? Well, we're going to get into it. Before we get into it, I want to just get into my overall feelings on Forza Horizon 4, because I've never done a review on it. It came out long before I had started doing these reviews. So, I just want to give you a quick overview of how I feel about this game going into me just talking about this one mode. The overall feel of this is this game kind of bothered me a little bit. I know a lot of people like this game, and it is a very solidly made racing game. I would never say otherwise. That being said, Forza Horizon 3, for me, was the pinnacle of this series. It's absolutely the best. And then Forza Horizon 4 was a little bit of a letdown. Mainly because of the fact that they took series out of the game, and no one seemed to have a problem with this, so I must be in the minority, but I can't come up with a series of races anymore, or do a series of races, which really bummed me out. I don't like just doing one race at a time, one race here, one race there. That just irritated me, and because of it, I ended up losing my interest in the game. Now, don't get me wrong, I have gone back to it here or there when I'm in the mood for a racing game, and I have been brought back to it again by the curiosity that is sparked inside me of how a non-combat oriented racing game could possibly do a Battle Royale. And I'm not disappointed. It is very interesting. So let's get into it. The Battle Royale in Forza Horizon 4 is called the Eliminator, because they can't just call it a Battle Royale. PUBG would get mad at them. So, it is called the Eliminator. You go to it, you get into a queue, and honestly, this is probably because it's new right now, but you get into a game pretty fast. The game itself, the Eliminator matches themselves aren't 100-man. They are 72 top-outs. But it seems, I don't know what the lower end minimum is, but it seems like they will start a game if they have, like, even in the 40s. Which I don't mind at all. I'd rather play with a lesser amount than not get to play and wait longer. So how does it work? Okay. Basically, you go in, once you're in the queue, it gives you, it quickly brings up the map, and you get 10 seconds to select a starting destination for your car. Very much akin to Fallout 76's Battle Royale. That part I kind of enjoyed, not gonna lie. They also tell you that the car drops, which I'll explain in a little bit, are usually closer to buildings, cities, and places where, you know, a car would be. Everybody in the match starts in a Mini Cooper, a low-rated Mini Cooper. Now, after that 10 seconds is finished and everybody's made their selection secretly, you drop in and start. The map, much like a Battle Royale, shrinks. It has a big oval circle. You have to be within that circle. I am not 100% sure what happens when you're outside of that circle, because you're in a car, it's very easy to stay inside the circle. I did not test what happens. I don't know if you... I couldn't see you being able to die slowly since there's no health bar in the racing game. So I'm guessing that if you're caught outside the circle when the circle finishes closing in, you're just eliminated. But I cannot be sure. I don't know what happens. It never happened to me. I always managed to stay inside the circle. What you do is you drive around looking for large colored flares. The large colored flares indicate a car drop, much like going into a building and picking up the randomly spawned procedurally generated weaponry. It's no different in this. You land on the smoke, you claim the car, and then your Mini Cooper is replaced with a better, faster, more capable vehicle. From what I can tell, every car on the roster is represented in this somewhere. It's just whether or not you get to pick it up. So now you're probably wondering, how do eliminations happen? Well, they happen in a very interesting way. In this, now when you're driving around in free roam in Forza Horizon, you can honk at people you see when you're in online mode and just immediately start a race with them. It randomly generates a location on the GPS and you try and beat the person there. This is basically how takedowns work in the Battle Royale. When you see another person, you have to get within close proximity to them. You honk your horn, it immediately initiates a challenge. Same thing happens if they honk at you. And then you have to beat them to the destination. If you don't beat them to the destination, you're eliminated. If you do beat them to the destination, they are eliminated. No one can honk at you once you're in this. So the minute you honk at somebody and the challenge happens, you and the person you honked at are exempt from being challenged. So until your race is over, which is interesting. There's no third partying in this. Although there's kind of a way to chase two people who are racing until somebody gets to the finish and then just immediately honk at the winner once they've figured out what they're going to do with the rewards. By rewards, I mean once you defeat somebody and get that takedown, you can select one of two things. You can either upgrade the car you're in to one higher class level, or you can take the car of the person you beat, like shift into that car, and then that's your car, which is very interesting. It's kind of the same premise of looting a body in PUBG, but it's a little bit cleaner, it's a little bit faster, because you're not looking for a ton of equipment, you're just picking the one thing and moving on. So at this point, you keep doing this process until you get down to about 11 to 15 races will be what's left in the final showdown. The final showdown is very interesting because once the final showdown is initiated, you can't do the head-to-head honking anymore. What happens is there's a countdown clock. When the countdown clock reaches 0, the borders are just eliminated, and then a destination is set. Everybody has to get to that destination. The first person there wins. Everybody else is ranked based on how close they were to the destination, and that's the final order of the Eliminator. So, that's it. That's the overview of the Eliminator. Let's get into pros and cons. As usual, I like to go pros first. One thing that's really great about this is the time to finish a match. Now, in PUBG, if you want to be in it from start to finish and get that chicken dinner, you're looking at like 40 minutes of your life. It is not quick in and out sort of thing unless you're dying a lot. There are some other ones that are faster. Apex is a little bit faster, but all in all, a lot of them take a really long time. This one is 20 minutes tops. I really like that. It's very clean, it's very quick, and it's very easy. And once you're done, once you're eliminated or whatever, you get a selection. Quit, play again. If you hit the play again, it takes you back to free roam mode and then immediately starts cycling you back into another matchmaking system and getting you back into the match. And it's pretty fast and quick. I want to say I had an hour to play this, and I got 10 full Eliminator matches in, which was very exciting to me. I've never been able to get that much play in with a feature in an hour. I also love the cleanness of the takedown system, just the race to the 1 point. It's really nice and easy. You don't have to worry about getting shot in the back. I can't count the number of angry times I've been in a battle royale and I'm winning the gunfight. I'm about to kill the guy and some idiot noob jumps in the window behind me and pops me in the back of the head because I'm focusing on another guy. I love that in this, you find somebody, you challenge them, that's the person you focus on, that's the person you move on. There's also a lot of strategy to staying away from people once you have the car you want, and you can actually see other people on the mini-map. They pop up as little dots, which, again, very interesting to me, very cool idea. And I don't think you could really do that in the gunplay stuff. I also really like the final showdown. I love the idea that it becomes this whole other thing right at the end, and it becomes more about the racing. And I also love the chaos of you having 11 to 15 drivers all kind of forced into this one smaller area, and then just letting them go and trying to get to another area. It creates some chaos-like driving, and that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do when I got to those final showdowns. Alright, let's get negative. Let's go with the cons. And there are some cons to this. This is fun, no doubt about it. I enjoyed what I played. But right off the bat, something that I noticed that really, really kind of ground my gears a little bit is this Eliminator takes half of the fun of Forza right out of it. And half of the fun of Forza is building the cars, customizing the cars, making the cars what you want them to be, and then taking them out and showing other people it in races. And I mean, heck, there's so many features in this game that are about making paint jobs and then selling those paint jobs to other people for in-game currency, or builds or tunes, you know. To take all of that out for a mode like this is a little irritating. I really wish they would have found a better way to maybe work that in. Like, okay, set a class for the Eliminator, like you have to have a B-class car to start, and then build your own B-class vehicle. Like, I think that there would be something way cooler to this if there was a pre-game thing to it of building my car, deciding what I want. And there's something really interesting to be said about, like, well, I could build a cross-country car because you're driving through a lot of cross-country, or maybe I'll drive get a street car just because I want the speed. And I think that they could have done that a little bit better. They could have found a way to work that in just a little bit better. And because of that, that's got to be my biggest con. It's got to be my biggest con, that there's no customizable car options for this mode whatsoever. My second and third con start with this, and that is trees. Trees. They are the worst. And you're wondering what I am talking about right now. Now, if you've ever played one of these games and you're just driving around in free roam mode, and you just decide to go off-roading it, you're going to run into some trees that you can't just drive through, and you just slam into them, you stop moving. It's very irritating. In this, the way they do the head-to-heads is they set a destination on the map, and then you've got to get there. There is no checkpoints. There is nothing to steer your route whatsoever from point A to point B. It's just a straight line is the fastest. Well, a straight line is going to take you through rivers. It's going to take you through tons and over hills and tons and tons and tons of trees. And really what this game becomes being about is tree management. Whether or not I hit a tree is whether or not I'm going to get there. That's a little irritating because people have beaten me in the worst car because I slip up and smack into a tree, and vice versa. In my 10 matches, there was a couple of times I won in that crappy little Mini Cooper I started with against somebody in a Bugatti because they got caught on a tree because they had to off-road it. There's also something to be said, which folds into my next con, is that the cross-country vehicles are way better than the Lamborghinis and the supercars. Yeah, the supercars can go really super fast, but they're terrible in the weeds, and they're terrible in the trees. And that's something that's a little irritating for me. I think that what they should have done was found a way to set up some checkpoints. I was talking to a friend of mine, and actually the idea that I had was I wish that whoever managed to get the challenge off, whoever managed to honk to initiate the challenge, the checkpoints kind of curve themselves to that vehicle. So the destination was set, but if I'm driving a Bugatti and I honk at you, the checkpoints are going to take me through some roads. And vice versa if I'm in a cross-country vehicle. That's not the way it is. It's just a destination, get there first by any means. And unfortunately, it's just all about a straight line, and that's really frustrating because a lot of times it's just about, you know, getting lucky with the scenery that you have to drive through. It's that kind of stuff that I feel like this Battle Royale, they were trying to so closely copy the formula of other Battle Royales with cars that they could have really taken a step back and thought, how do we use our unique positioning of racing and cars to not just do the Battle Royale formula, but make it something different and new? And they didn't do that. They missed that mark. So while it's really interesting how close they get it to a feel of just a straight up Battle Royale with racing cars, I really wish they could have taken some time and thought about how to make it a little bit more Forza. So that comes to the conclusion whether or not I'm going to stick with it. So sticking with it on this is hard because Forza 4 has, I don't know, every time I get back into it, it's just nothing there really holds me the way Forza 3 did, which got a lot of my time and effort in that one. That being said, I do enjoy this Eliminator mode, but again, I feel like the replayability is hampered by the fact that you're not collecting any like, even the cars you collect from doing it, they don't matter if you're only playing the Eliminator because you don't get any custom cars. You don't get any of your cars in it. And that's a problem because I think the core replayability of Forza Horizon is the getting the cars, painting the cars, making the cars your own, building them the way you want them to, tuning them the way you want to. When you take that out, it just hurts the whole core essence. So while this was a fun experience, I really enjoyed my time. I don't think I'm going to be going back to it that often just because there is no extraneous stuff around it other than just playing Forza Horizon 4, which, you know, is fine, but it's just not my bag. So there you guys go. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to. This is probably one of the longer reviews, and I'm just talking about features, but that's my review of Forza Horizon, the Eliminator Battle Royale. So as long as you guys keep listening, I'll keep making them. Next week, I'm hoping to review Untitled Goose Game after it comes to Games Pass, and then the week after that, I will probably be doing the long-awaited DLC for Borderlands 3. So as long as you guys keep watching these, I will keep making them, and I'll see you guys next time.